I love green. Sherwin Williams Kilim Beige is a warm, earthy tone, perfect for creating a cozy and inviting space. This beige color can be used throughout your home's interior to achieve a relaxing, nature-inspired feel. By the end of this video, you're not only going to be equipped with all of the information you need to know about Kilim Beige, I want to reveal my custom-made color palette for it that will help you let the outside into your home. Beige is back, y'all. So according to Sherwin Williams, this neutral evokes a soft warmness that will have you putting on the kettle and inviting over the neighbor. I guess you just have one neighbor. Evidently, it's also part of the top 50 color collection by Sherwin Williams, and to me, that says one of two things. It's extremely popular because of how great it is, like it's such an awesome color, or it's so popular that it feels overdone. Now, there's a term that you might be familiar with called builder's beige. Ugh. Hate that term. And this equates to a color that construction companies just throw on the walls because they can't think of anything better to use, basically. And while some colors can fit into this category, I guess, I find Kilim Beige to be in a slightly more favorable category. What I like about it is it has a relative amount of richness to it, coming in at a 57 LRV, and you can think of this as having 57% lightness. That's actually a pretty good spot for a wall color, because usually when you have anything close to 60, it's not going to feel too light or too dark for most people. So that's already a plus. Great job. Number two, it feels very balanced as a beige, where it doesn't go too far into the red side of brown or the green side of things. It's pretty much brown leaning for the most part, a bit of a light tan, I would say. It also has enough to it that if you were to use white trim or even light furniture around it, it should really pop because of that difference in lightness. And at the same time, it will really suit natural woods and any midtones you want to throw at it as well. I could see it working in living rooms. It could be an ideal wall color there, paired with those natural wood accents and textures for a rustic look. Give it some area rugs with some complementary earth tones as well. Will really help bring the color into the space. Even in a bedroom, it can create a very soft and familiar aesthetic. Use it on the walls and incorporate, natural linen bedding and woven blankets and some cute little wooden side tables for a really peaceful vibe. And then, of course, as an exterior color on the outside of your home, I really think Kilim Beige is an attractive option for siding, even trim, and maybe doors as well. But just make sure you don't use it for all of them all at once. Go with a lighter or darker color surrounding it to give you some contrast. Also, it really does a great job at complementing most natural stone, brick, even stucco exteriors. It really just creates a wonderful, warm, inviting curb appeal on the outside of your home. With its versatile and calming nature, Sherwin Williams Kilim Beige is a color for creating that relaxing, nature-filled home. From walls to windows to outdoor spaces even, this beige hue can be used throughout your home's interior and exterior if you really wanted to. But we all know the best part of these Color Quickie videos is the color palette, of course. I purposely avoided anything beige related here because I thought it might be a little bit redundant, and there are a few colors that are less beige. Then Let It Rain. This is a cool one for me because it almost feels like a silvery blue. You could really interpret it as kind of this faded denim gray. It just feels very laid back, but also contemporary. You do have a bit of a complementary relationship between this and Kilim Beige, which just helps them pop off each other really, really nicely. And then of course we have the second color in this palette, which is Mindful Gray. And I would say this is more of a neutral choice, but it's very much towards the gray side of things compared to beige. So that gives you a bit of a different take here. I put it as the second color pairing here because I don't want to tempt you into thinking that this is a color you need to really overuse in the space. I do realize that a lot of my viewers are moving away from gray overall, but I think an interesting way of using gray today is in smaller pockets. So don't just paint everything gray, maybe have a gray room that really lends itself to it. This helps those of you who perhaps maybe already have some gray rooms that maybe you aren't ready to completely repaint. You can almost repurpose them. Maybe you could just leave one or two of those gray rooms to be kind of like sort of neutral accents, I guess you could say, and surround it with all of the new colors coming in to really add some dimension. A bit of what's old is new again, kind of tying in your old aesthetic with your new aesthetic. The color that completes the palette is Privileged Green, and the only gray found in this one is just a subtle touch of it to tone down the coloration a little bit. While Kilim Beige carries that heavenly warmth and is supported by those two other cooler colors in the middle of this palette, Privileged Green really marries them all together for me, and although it has some cooler elements of its own, it's very much an organic feeling color. It's one with nature, which is a quality that I try to look for with my paint colors in some form or fashion.
I love green.
I have two trim color options, one light and one dark option for you. The light is quite possibly my favorite white by Sherwin Williams. It's not the brightest white out there, but it feels so balanced. It's of course Alabaster. It's a superstar, and I'll go as far as to say that you can even double this as a fourth wall color option in areas they want a space to feel really clean and airy. It has enough to it where it won't feel too intense on those larger surfaces like walls. And I guess the same can kind of go for the dark trim color choice, which is Outer Space. Now, obviously not light or bright by any means, but not too dark that it's going to feel very silly on your walls as well. This is a paint color that is initiated by a smoky blue, and it's combined with dark gray to give you this mysterious, hazy feel. But I do think it's a very fun option for your woodwork because it's not overly vibrant and rich with color. It's saturated mainly because of how dark it is, not necessarily with how bright it is. It feels rich, not because it's super bright and vibrant and in your face. It's sort of a smokier color that is saturated with richness and depth and moodiness. Here's the palette all together. We have another one right over here if you want to see some more.